Did you know that in Texas, folks smash cars together just for the sheer fun of it and pack the stands with thousands cheering every crumpling collision? Buckle in, y'all, because this ain't your ordinary Sunday drive story. Today, I'm sharing what happened when I saw my very first Texas Demolition Derby. And trust me, it's wilder, louder, and more heart-pounding than you can imagine. Howdy, y'all. Welcome back to the Lone Star Plate, where we chase down the wildest and most unforgettable tales from the heart of Texas. If you love hearing about the weird, wonderful, and downright legendary things we do out here, you're in the right place. Today's adventure? What really goes down at a Texas Demolition Derby, and why you might just need to add it to your own bucket list. If you've never seen a Demolition Derby in person, let me paint you a picture. Imagine the back end of a small fairground, the smell of fried funnel cakes and barbecue in the air, dust swirling up under blazing stadium lights, a ramshackle lineup of cars, battered, graffiti sprayed, patched together with duct tape, chicken wire, and hope. Some have giant cowboy hats painted on the roof. Others wear their sponsorship logos like battle scars. And the drivers? They look like they just stepped out of a classic Western, except their steeds are rusty Oldsmobiles with roll cages. Now, I've heard about demolition derbies all my life, but nothing prepared me for the energy in the place. These stands weren't just full, they were buzzing. The perfect cross-section of Texas. Kids waving glow sticks, old-timers swapping tales about derbies from decades back, and couples on date night all shoulder to shoulder for the main show. The rules of a demolition derby are pretty simple. Drive fast, hit hard, and try to be the last car still moving. But what struck me is how much strategy goes into it. You'd think it's all wild chaos, but the drivers are always sizing each other up, watching for that perfect moment to slam into a rival's weak spot. Rear-end hits are king because smashing up the front can wreck your own engine. So there's this weird dance between carnage and caution, like rodeo cowboys trying not to get gored. The announcer was the perfect hype man. Imagine if your favorite sports commentator also moonlighted as a honky-tonk MC. He'd holler, "Here comes Big Jimmy out of Jasper, Texas, driving that 1984 Buick like it owes him money." Every time a car got T-boned or engine smoke billowed up, the crowd whooped like it was the 4th of July. And then, the most Texas twist you could imagine. A pause for cowboy karaoke. Right in the center of the chaos between heats, the mic was handed off to a derby driver in a battered Stetson, belting out a shaky rendition of Amarillo by Morning, while folks sang along and the next batch of drivers revved their engines in the background. Only in Texas could carnage and country tunes mix so perfectly. Let me tell you about the young man everyone was whispering about, Trace, from a tiny Texas town you probably never heard of. He's 22, he's got his mama's blessing, and he's driving a car so beat up it could barely be called a car. And somehow, round after round, Trace kept dodging the heaviest hits. He'd swerve, get clipped, and somehow keep that old clunker moving. The crowd was on his side, roaring louder every time his battered Chevy roared back to life. I'll admit, at first I winced every time metal crunched, but by the time sparks started spraying, when a car's radiator burst like a geyser and another went up in a puff of blue smoke, I was as hooked as everybody else. There's something about a Texas Demolition Derby that gets straight to the root of what this state is all about. It celebrates toughness, ingenuity, and pure, stubborn guts. You see grown men and women pouring a year's worth of work into a $300 junker, turning backyard scrap into something glorious, if only for a few minutes. It's DIY spirit meets high-octane theater, a real-life, slow-motion stampede where every driver tips their hat to Lady Luck. Here's the part I didn't see coming: the community behind it all. In the pits between rounds, drivers swapped tools, traded advice, and even helped patch up so-called rivals' cars. One fellow's tire blew out, and before he could even curse, a half-dozen folks from other teams were rolling up a spare and jumping in to help. Devil may care on the track, but a real Texas family underneath. When the final mud-slicked round rolled around, only 3 cars could still limp forward. Trace, the unlikely underdog, got double-teamed and spun out. The engine hiccuped once, twice, then roared. He made one last gasping charge, shoving his opponent's car over the final line and clinching the win. The stands just exploded. Even the other drivers, muddy, sweaty, grinning, jumped up on the roof of his car to hoist him high. Yes, sir, that is classic Texas heart. As the night cooled down and the crowd filtered home, I couldn't help but think Demolition Derby is just about as Texan as it gets. It's messy, it's loud, and everybody leaves with a story. Plus maybe a little bit of someone else's bumper paint in their hair. So let me ask y'all, have you ever seen a Demolition Derby? Maybe you've had your own piece of Texas adventure under the stadium lights. Or maybe this is something you'd never dream of trying. Drop your stories or your wildest small-town Texas traditions in the comments below. Don't forget, a like and a subscribe go a long way in helping the Lone Star Plate keep bringing you the real untamed Texas you won't find anywhere else. Thanks for riding along with me tonight. Remember, down here, we don't just watch, we jump in head first, even if it means a fender bender or two. Until next time, keep your engines running and your stories even wilder. Y'all come back now, you hear?